Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to try taking this stuff and turning it into this. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is take this junction nut. I'm going to put it in the vice grips so that it is touching on all four of the corners that it can make contact with. So once I have it set so all four corners are touching, I'm going to pick where I want to cut this nut at. And I've decided I want to cut it right here. And that will go down this side and this side. That way when you open the pliers, this top section will open up and then you can insert the tube in. And then you'll shut it and it'll grip down on it. So let's cut this now. Alright, as you can see here, it's cut in half, but due to the threads and the way I cut it, you can't just shove it in or just slip it in. You have to slide it in like you would a bolt. And if you put the top on it and squeeze it, the tubing just comes right out. So the plan is to file some of the threads off of the curve. That way the tubing fits in there better. And then I'm going to file down the flat surface that I cut to smooth that out. And then the same on this small part, just to help them fit better together. Alrighty, here we go. I think I have this one filed pretty smooth, other than those ones. But I didn't want to go too deep on it. I want to leave the thread on there for extra grip on the top of it. Then I have the bottom of it. I couldn't get it to grip tight enough while it was flat, so I ended up taking and I knocked this end down and then tapered it up. So when I put the hose in here, it'll grab more at this end than it does at this end. As you can see, it's already sticking out a lot more here. So even the farther down you go, it would stick out even more. And then when you put this top piece on it, you'll just grab it and squeeze it. And as you can see down in there, it's already got a pretty good squish on it, and that's only about halfway down, so by the time it gets down here, it'll be plenty tight. Alright, so now it's time to build these little fingers. Okay, so we're going to make the finger part of it out of this lawnmower blade. We're going to start by cutting out this section, and then we'll draw on the finger cutout. Alright, so here's the rough drawing. You can see the center here, and then I'm going to cut this out, and then you can kind of see a darker line inside. I'm going to try making that my finished product. We'll see how it turns out. Alrighty, so I got this finger piece cut out and all the sharp edges taken off of it, cleaned up and ready to go. So now we have to figure out how to put the pliers onto the vice grips, and then how to get this onto the pliers. So what I'm gonna try to do, take this pair of pliers, and I have it set so that when you close them, they don't close all the way. I'm gonna open them up, and you can see the 3 rivets right here. I'm gonna try putting this bottom jaw on there in between them. And then I'm going to have this back handle sitting on the back of the channel, or the vice grips. I'm going to try pointing this jaw toward the other jaws as straight as I can, but I can't figure out how to like clamp them together, so I'm going to have to hold it while I weld it, and hopefully I can get it on the first go. Alrighty, that took way too long, but I finally got it welded. I still need to do a little bit on the bottom. Alright, so now I have to take this piece, figure out how to put it on here and get enough spacing in there so that I can also get a fitting and that nut in there. Alright, so I put the nut in the vice grips, and then I'm going to line that up with the hole. That way that's straight and in line. And then I kind of have this marked back here. So I'm going to try holding it right there and tacking it. And we'll see if it works. Alright, so I got it tacked. I switched out fittings. It appears it'll work. So I'm going to finish welding this up, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I took a little break from the welding and had a buddy help me drill just a little bit off of both of these. So a little bit off of that one. Put them together, you get a hole that's a 1/2 inch. That happens to be the exact size that I needed to get the hose and the fitting in there together. Alright, so the reason I bored this out a little bit was so I could get more of this fitting inside of it while maintaining a somewhat centered grip on this nut. So that way, when it squeezes, this end gets squeezed down tight enough that it'll hold it still, while not crushing this down, so it'll let this pass through it. So the next step is going to be, I'm going to take a Sharpie and mark all 4 sides, get everything lined up perfectly, so I can take this out before I weld it so I don't melt it. And then after I get everything marked and this taken out, put it back in, get everything lined up, and then I'll weld as much as I can to keep it as strong as I can, but I got to be careful not to get into this seam and weld it shut. Alright, there it is. So I'll weld it on. Everything's lined up. So the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pop this nut out. Where's that? This nut right here. Drop that out. And then I'm going to come in here with a file and clean up my very poor welds. And then we'll get it painted and show you the final product. Alrighty, so I got some of my very poor welds cleaned up on both the sides. So now we're going to paint it white, and we'll finish it off with a bright orange. Well, this is it all finished. I ended up putting a clear coat on it because the orange didn't want to stick to it. So I'm hoping that the clear coat will help it stay a little bit longer. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave a comment, thumbs up, If you want to see more stuff like this, please subscribe. Have a great day.